to do it. I want to ask you this question. This is something I've been wondering about for a while, and I feel like you're qualified to answer it, albeit it's quite abstract. So if I think about traditional finance and the trade-off of safety, security, and price, there's a certain fee, there's a certain cost for that system. For me to use a Visa MasterCard, it's like 3%, and virtually all merchants pay that roughly approximate number. There's costs in order to use a Fidelity brokerage account. There's costs everywhere. There may be baked in, they may not be obvious, but you could get to some percentage fee. In crypto, you have a different set of trade-offs between cost, security, decentralization. How do you think about maybe the convergence of cost specifically? Do you think that in the traditional finance is
I think this is really interesting because it's something that people kind of forget, right? The reason why your bank, used to pay you interest and probably does now pay you interest again after the interest rates having gone up, although I must admit I've not seen it. It seems a bit slow. The reason why your bank does that versus you paying a fee to store your funds at a broker is that your bank doesn't have the money you have at your bank isn't yours. The bank's using it, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like the exchange model that's been
right.
Pretty much
right. Sorry to interrupt you, but that same exchange model collapse was the post World War II. That was the Great Depression collapse, the run on the banks, thousands of banks.
Well, that or 2008, which inspired our whole industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is difference is in crypto. There's no central bank that's going to come along and make everything right. Not to say that they did make everything right. Let's be very clear. I mean. I still don't think we've actually seen the effects of what the central banks did. We haven't seen the full gamut of effects of what the central banks did actually up to 2008. And I think we're basically still in that cycle, right? But at least they stopped the banks from completely collapsing and everyone having no money one morning, right? There's no lender of last resort in crypto. There's no one that's going to come along when Plan Bank Trade loses all of your money. And say, Sam, don't worry about it. Here's a credit line, just give up your equity and one of the big boys will buy you out. That just can't really happen in crypto. The good thing it can't, ultimately. But unfortunately, that means that we are exposed, if we're going to use centralized models to store our money, rather than using a device, like a ledger or a wallet. If we're going to use centralized models and try and get some income on our money, and that's the risk we're exposed to. We're exposed to people making bad decisions about what to invest in, and people's egos getting too large to admit failure.
And okay, so do you feel that there is a equal? Would we converge on an equal price? Maybe like 5% every year. There's a 5% tax to just have a financial system, regardless of it's centralized or decentralized, that will eventually converge on some fee structure.
So I think if you, at least, we've taken a lot of, I guess, inspiration from the traditional financial system to try and make, to conceptualize and build products that are just like better than others, right? So our bridges and the bridging model I just spoke to you earlier, it takes this idea that ultimately you pay a fee to the person operating the bridge, but they pay you out if they are corrupt, right? If they steal your money from the bridge holds their money, and a smart contract can verify that they've stolen your money, and you get bailed out with their money directly. So this is exactly the model we're looking to kind of, I guess, put forward in crypto, which is you want to do something exotic, like move between chains, when chains were never built to be moved between, then you pay the toll, but you get safety. And I think that's a fairly natural model, right?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, the banking industry may have collapsed many times, but I don't think the insurance industry has.
Mission Control, we have liftoff.